should have been gathered prior to that. And then I could show you too what in my youth I have these essential fingers. I know my mom didn't. My mom didn't knit crochet. I don't know if my grandma did. Dorothy's parents did. Oh, wait, let me turn all these things off now. Hi. Oh, I should probably get a pillow.
Bastille Day. No, it's Bastille Day.
They just built out of something stronger than me. I wish I had. Stop talking. Stop talking. Oh.
Expecting major riots.
That in Paris.
Because they'd have to make riots to begin with, and it's the still day. So,
My daughter's supposed to take her two kids there in September. So much is going on.
Yeah, I picked another place.
well, they'll be on strike, but they're always on
I
strike.
mean, I love big cities. I don't know nothing from this thing like this. I don't think it's gonna be.
My favorite place.
It's nice
is
that she
another
remembers it.
country. Although I like cities, countryside where places are more different.
Yes.
How many were here last? When I watched Guns this year, it looked like not very many.
I don't know. I should count them. But I don't, so I forgive myself.
It's not your job,
It's not my job.
not even your volunteer job.
Chewbacca.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And I guess happy Bastille Day. As we have a lovely picture of Bastille Day on our screen, thanks to our esteemed president. And he's going to hate me calling him that, but I'm going to do it anyway. Anyway, esteemed. So anyway, Shabbat Shalom. I'm really glad to see all of you here this evening because I wasn't sure I was coming because it was so nasty at my house, the weather. I thought, oh, can we get out? Is it going to be flooded? Is it going to be, yeah, it was crazy. So, but I'm really glad to see everybody, and inside will create warmth and no rain and all that. So Our opening song this evening is going to be one that I kind of taught you a couple weeks ago. It's called Harani, and it's talking about loving your neighbor as yourself. And there it is, right there. He's got it on the screen for me. So hopefully you'll kind of remember the tune. We'll sing it through a couple of times, and I just love the message of this, you know, taking upon the mitzvah of loving your neighbor as yourself. I just love that message. Harini mekabel alai et mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reaka kamocha l'reaka kamocha. Join with me. Harini mekabel alai et mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reaka kamocha l'reaka kamocha. One more time. Harini mekabel alai et mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reaka kamocha l'reaka kamocha. Beautiful. At this time, on page 120, we begin our service with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. And it is my pleasure to invite the other Linda, to as I call her, up to light our Shabbat candles for us on page 120. Gather in the light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. Please turn to page 124. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Page 142. Eventually, once I get all my music, we'll start going to Lakado Div, but I don't. By the way, my stuff is in transit.
Coming here?
I don't know. I just know it's moved from Memphis. That's all I know. It may be coming via Philly or L.A. I don't know, but it is in transit. So eventually, I'll have my stuff here. So don't even go there. Okay. So Shalom Aleichem. That old table song that people used to sing after they left and went back to their homes for their Shabbat dinner, accompanied by the angels on their shoulders, making sure they made it home safely. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitekhem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'b'yomechon uv'kayeda kol beit Yisrael, b'hagala, b'hagala, u'v'zman kariv, v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam u'lamei amaya Yitbarak Yitbarak V'yishtabak V'yitpa'ar V'yitrumam V'yitnasei V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shemei Dekudasha Barichu La'ela min kol birkata v'shirata Tushbekata v'nechemata da'amihiram b'yama v'imru. Amen. On page 146, all who are able, please rise for the Baruch Hu. And we're going to be singing, Am I Awake? Am I Prepared? And I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared with a slide, but I hope you know the words. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu El Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vayet, Le'olam Vayet. Ya-la-lai, lai, lai, 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 ya-la-lai, lai, lai. And on the next page, our prayer for evening, that the miracle of day and night, night and dark. And we're going to sing Roll Into Dark, okay? If you want to branch out, feel free, all right? Roll into dark, roll into light, Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Morayom Belayla, Golel Or Mipnei Choshech, Golel Or Mipnei Choshech, V'Choshech Mipnei Or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Boreyom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. That song actually is around. The parts can be split, and one of these days, Holly and I are going to do that. We're going to split up and do it. It'll be amazing. Page 151. At the bottom of the page, let's read responsively. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Together, what could be a truer token of your abiding love? And let's continue to read together. Than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And on page 152, the Shema, the watchwords of our faith. If you want to, just close your eyes and take in the words of the Shema and think about each one of the words as you sing it. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto L'olam Vayed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto L'olam Vayed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please be seated. And join me on page 155, and let's read this translation, or I guess a translation of the Ve'ahavta together. Page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And on page 158, please join me in singing Micha Mocha. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Micha mocha b'harlihim Adonai, Micha mocha nehedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele. Malachutecha rahu v'necha, Bokei hayom lifnei Moshe, u'Miriam zeheli, anu ve'amru, ze'eli anu ve'amru. Adonai yimlok le'olam v'ha'ed, Adonai yimlok le'olam v'ha'ed. Page 161. And let's read together at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapurei sukkot shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. And on page 163, a thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind, and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. And on page 164, if you are able, please rise for the tefillah. Adonai sefetai tiftach ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Bezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei v'Nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Next page. Atah Gebor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atarav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalchel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berakamim Rabim, So make noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umakayehem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot, Umidom Elak, Melech Beimit, Umakahayeh, Umatzmiak Yeshua, Vene'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekayeh HaKol. Next page. Atah Kadosh V'Shim Kadosh, Ukadoshim B'Kol Yom Yahaluka Selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. page 173. And let's read this together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Page 177. And I'm going to read a special reading, and then we will join together at the top of the page. Imagine how your life would change if you awoke every morning and declared, "Thank you, God, for your abundant gifts." And imagine if things weren't going so well, and you awoke every morning and declared, "Thank you, God, for your abundant gifts." How would that change your life? And at the top, please join me in reading together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, ha-tov shimcha u'laka na'eh lehodot. And on page 179, I'm just going to read the prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarek et amo Yisrael b'shalom. At this time, we're going to take just a few moments to think about those in our community that are in need of healing. God, grant your healing power to all those in need, to those whom I know and those unknown to me. God, grant your comfort and consolation to all who grieve, those whom I know and those unknown to me. Holy One, bring a swift end to suffering and strife, and heal the world with your steadfast love. So at this time, we're going to think about those in our community that are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit, and perhaps they're in need of both. So I'm going to read this list for you. We're thinking today about Ben Abramowitz, Lee Arnoff, Robert Arnold, Joel Ashkenazi, James Baton, Bennett Cannon, Jack Casey's, Jody Cotton Consor, Karen Dennis, Nancy Dressler, Sue Glazier, Celia Grossman, Rachel Gray, Mason Gaucher, Fran Hertz, Margot Hertz, Kim Hill, Trudy Horkin, Libby Kahn, Melissa Carlin, Jessica Corrales, Lori Kotkin, Ingrid Kraling, Diana Lando, Donnie Levy, Lori Licker, Sylvia Marsh, Ken McDonald, Dwayne Mobley, Harold Neerman, Stuart Rossinger, Steve Roth, Alan Schoenfeld, Diana Vanden Bougard, Sarah Jane Victor. And I'm thinking of my dear friend Roxana Sylvian, and we also want to think about Rabbi Brett Tanser. Are there other names that you would like to add? Please feel free to add them at this time.
Linda Tyndall and Billy Showers.
Sharon Dupre.
We think of all of those people and we keep them in our prayers as we, he's ahead of me. This is a kind of a new version of Misha Barak that I've been kind of doing lately. So please join me. There are the words that, and there's the translation of what we're singing. Adonai yishlach lahem refuah shlema. Adonai yishlach lahem refuah shlema. Refuat ha-nefesh u'refuat ha-guf ben omar amen. Refuat ha-nefesh u'refuat ha-guf ben omar amen. At this time, take just a couple moments to pray the thoughts and prayers of your heart to the God of your understanding, and then meet me over on page 180 for Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'himru amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'himru amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Well, Shabbat Shalom once again, everybody. Good to see we've had a few that have added in. This is great. Shabbat Shalom and welcome. So we are at the end of Bamidbar. We're almost out of the wilderness. Who knew? But as you are well aware, our Torah scroll is divided into the 5 books of Moses, or the Pentateuch. And we're about to end that 4th book, Bamidbar, or Numbers. And this week we have a double portion of Matot, which means tribes, and Maaseh, which sort of roughly translate into marches. So you kind of get the idea. We've formed the tribes, we've amassed this army, we're getting ready to march. Well, the Torah is actually somewhat further divided into 2 sections, which is Sefer Mishpatim, or the Book of Laws, which kind of takes us from the beginning of Genesis up to Sinai, where we receive all of the laws that we are going to be receiving. The next part, the second section, is called Sefer Milchama, which is the Book of War. And we don't think about the Torah as being divided like that, but let's face it, we're amassing an army to get ready to go to war. We're going to go to war to try to recapture our land that God has promised to us, to those people. Now in Matot, an interesting dilemma is going to arise, in that the heads of 2 of the tribes, the tribe of Reuven and the tribe of Gad, decide to approach Moses about their desire to settle in the lands of Jazer and Gilad. Well, what this means is they're no longer interested in the promised land, as they were the tribes that possessed the cattle, almost all of the cattle. And those lands, Jazer and Gilad, were perfect for raising cattle. So why should we go on? Well, in last week's Parsha, Pinchas, we learned about Moses' impending demise, and that Joshua, the son of Nun, is tapped to be Moses' successor to lead the Israelites into the promised land. Well, however, we find this week Moses is still very much alive and is still leading the people. Interesting how that works. The torch has been passed because Moses is going to die. And he's never going to reach the promised land. And yet, the people still seek out Moses for his leadership and his wisdom. There's no question that Moses is the one that needs to be asked for permission. So off the heads of these tribes go to seek out Moses, the priest Eleazar, and the chieftains of the community. They proposed that they would be quite content to settle in this area with their cattle and live out their lives contentedly. Basically, please don't make us cross the Jordan. Please don't make us cross the Jordan. Well, needless to say, this proposal did not sit well with Moses, and he goes on a, let's call it a minor rampage at the men, starting with verse 6 in the parashah, saying, "Are your brothers to go to war while you stay here?" And it ends with verse 15, so it's a kind of a little bit of a rampage. And verse 15 says, "If you turn away from him," meaning God, "and God abandons them once more in the wilderness, you will bring calamity upon this people." That's a lot to swallow. So Moses reminds them that once or twice before there had been dissension among the ranks. God was none too happy about it and asserted that none of the men over the age of 20 who left Egypt will enter the promised land, except Caleb and Joshua, because they remained loyal throughout the entire thing. Then Moses is silent, very silent. A deal was struck after this long pause, which apparently spoke volumes to these men. They offered to build enclosures for their cattle and towns for their children. Moses agreed, saying, "If you want to leave your children safe in the fortified towns of those lands, that's fine. But you must remain as part of the force that goes into the promised land. Once that land has been secured for all Israelites and each is settled, you may return to your lands, and you're going to be square with God. If you don't cross over the Jordan with us, all bets are off." It doesn't really say that in the Torah. I took some poetic license there. But anyway, so why did Moses become so angry with these tribes that basically they backed down and said, "Thanks, but no thanks. We're not interested in being involved." Well, it strikes me that we kind of face some of this issue today. That while many, take to the streets and get involved in the wars of equality and homelessness and food challenges and other plagues on our society, many sit idly by while the others fight the battle. They see no reason to be involved from the comfort of their turf, where they have everything they need at their disposal. In the instance of the families of Reuben and Gad, it was not an option. They had come so far, they were in it together. And they would stay together until every person in that group had what they needed. Splintering off was just not an option, just as it really is not an option for Jews now. Not until all mankind is equal and settled in their land, in their space, and can hold their heads up proudly without fear. The Israelites strive for this opportunity where they could flourish without fear of slavery or destruction. And they did it together. They did it together. Each of us has difficulty with change. Change of job, change of homes, moving to new lands, change in leadership of our place of work, changes in temple leadership, or even in the country. The Israelites found the change in leadership to be a particularly difficult time. They were used to going to Moses to help make decisions, and now there would be a new leader. Could they trust him? Would he be as wise as Moses? Well, sometimes change is good. Sometimes change does not work out. But change is never an easy time for any of us. This congregation is in a period of change and in transition, as am I. But let us think of ways that we can strive together. No matter what our differences, to see that all people in this community and outside our communities have the opportunity to flourish and matter and be healthy in this community and in our world. Ken Hiratson. be this God's will. And since we are at the end of Bamidbar, we sing Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek, v'nit chazek, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek, v'nit chazek. Let us be strong, strong, and strengthen each other. Be strong, strong, and strengthen each other. Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek, v'nit chazek, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek, v'nit chazek. And next week, last book, Deuteronomy. Stay tuned. All right. On page 586, if you are able, please rise on page 586 as the ark is opened. At the bottom of page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tekedu la'yotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kelkenu kahem, v'goraleinu kekol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, Umishtakavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Please turn to page 591. At the top, we read together. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Thus it has been said, Adonai will be sovereign over all the earth. On that day, Adonai will be one, and God's name will be one. Please be seated. We turn now to page 592 as we prepare for our mourner's Kaddish. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known and loved. If you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. We're thinking today of the art site, the anniversary of the death occurring at this time, and I am still in Shloshim for my dear friend Sheila Walensky. Is anyone else in Shloshim at this time? We're thinking of the following whose yard sites occur at this time: Edith W. Carl, Elizabeth T. Miller, Harry Knorr, M.F. Mo Hacker, Malvina Molly Dubs, Paul Pink, Rabbi David Max Eichhorn, Rose Weiss, Sally Traeger, Stanley Morris, Sylvia K. Barr, Minnie Grossman, David Blumberg, Joe Murphy, Louis Coso. If there are other names that you were thinking of today for Yahrzeit, please say their names aloud as I pass over you.
A name came in, I'm not sure if it's for the Yahrzeit list or the Misha Dara list, so I don't
Okay,
know what to tell you. Carol Fishburne. Carol Fishburne.
okay, thank you. So if it is your custom, or if you were in mourning and you wish to rise, please rise on page 598 for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabah mevarach le'olam almei almaya yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitvar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalef v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu la'ela min kol b'rikata v'shirata tushbakata v'nekamata da'amiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al Yisrael v'imru amen. Zikronom lebracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. You may be seated. And at this time, in honor of Bastille Day, I would like to invite Mike Slotkin to give us some announcements and some greetings of Shabbat Shalom.
She lowers the average age of the attendees by a lot.
I noticed that.
She did. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. To those of you that are streaming in tonight. So a little bit more activity coming up this week. Monday, our good friend, my predecessor, Larry Feinberg, who was at NASA for, I don't know, God knows, 15 or 20 years,
Long time, yes.
is doing a men's club luncheon speaker duty on Monday, July 17th on the space program. So that should be exciting. Contact Terry Berman if you're interested in this. On Wednesday, we have a twofer, Mahjong at 1, and book club on Zoom at 7:30. Mahjong is a very competitive game these days. Bring plenty of cash with you if you're going to play. 1 o'clock. No cash? No money? Okay. I think you'll get more people with gambling, but.
You might be rated.
Right. Next Friday night, July 21st, I'm trying to think of what we could do there. I believe that's the anniversary of Armstrong's moonwalk, so we
Ooh,
could put that
hello.
in there as well.
Yeah, okay.
And we're back with Bagels and Bible. So Bagels and Bible, we started again last week, but I think tomorrow you're going to try to do the hybrid model.
If you help me get everything hooked
Okay.
up, then we'll be.
Well, Libby's here, so she can watch as well. So
Yeah.
those that want to attend in person, it'll be in the rabbi's office,
And
and there'll be a screen up, and other people will be zooming in.
Mm-hmm.
And we think it works because we tried it out a week ago,
Kind of.
and it looks like it worked. The only thing is, I think who's ever controlling the Zoom room is going to have to log in on your computer, on your laptop.
Yeah, probably that's
I think
true.
you're going to have to do
Yeah,
that.
we'll do it.
Okay. And then the big stuff coming up in August. Sunday, I should have written this down.
August
I think
6th.
it's August 6th, is our big open house meet and greet. Wine, beer, food starts at 5 o'clock. This is a Sunday. This is the party that we should have had a year and a half ago, but we didn't have because of COVID. So you want to learn more about the congregation, or you just want to enjoy friendship again and meet the new rabbi in a more relaxed environment, Sunday, August 6th, 5 p.m. And then about 2 weeks later, on Saturday, that would be August 19th. Remember we did 2 comedians last year. So we're bringing in Scott Blakeman, who is the opener at times for Robert Klein in New York City. And Scott Blakeman was the counterpoint. I guess he would have been more of the liberal point of view
think so, yeah.
on Fox News every now and then. So he does have somewhat of a national profile. So he will be here doing a comedy show August 19th, Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Okay? So it's already been announced. You can start buying your tickets for that.
You want to mention that the registration is open for religious school and that it starts on August 13th?
Well, religious school is August 13th. Sunday, August 13th is the first day. But yeah, I think we had that out in the bulletin, the registration form. And if I'm not
And it's been
mistaken, somebody's already registered. So I
Yeah.
know people have seen
We
it
don't know
because
where it went.
registrations
Yeah, but
have
yeah,
happened.
it went out to all the parents. I think,
Right.
yeah, Terry sent out an announcement to all the parents
Sure.
and with registration forms and all that, so.
No. We have something called Mommy, Daddy, and Me that starts, I think, at 2.
2 or 3, yeah.
But they don't meet every week.
But
Yeah.
but the actual, Judaic studies, it's kindergarten,
Kindergarten.
like 5, yeah,
Kindergarten.
so, I mean, yeah,
Right.
exactly, so, but yeah, it's great.
And then our big welcome back Shabbat, Friday night, barbecue, bounce house, water slide is going to be Friday night. And I think that's August 25th, Friday, August 25th. So August has a lot of big events going on at the temple
Yeah.
with lots of activity.
Is the open house open to our congregation or people outside our?
No, everybody.
Outside,
It's open,
yeah.
open.
But is it for congregation members or only new people?
No, it's open for
Everybody.
everybody.
The community.
Everybody is the key word. It's an open house.
Yeah, Temple Shalom has.
Anybody
it's been-
and everybody.
It's been announced to them, so, yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe not everybody in Brevard County. I don't think we can house everybody, but yeah.
Yeah, we have to think
Which is-
that one through.
Yeah,
First.
exactly.
And then I have the note here about the oneg for 2 weeks, but I thought I announced this last week, so maybe that was misplaced on the sheet last week. So I'll wait and confirm with Terry about who the oneg is for 2 weeks from now, before I announce it. And I'll do that next week. So everybody, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Have a wonderful weekend. For those of you celebrating Bastille Day, happy Bastille Day.
Oy, what can I tell you? He's a keeper, I guess. So, I gotta wait till he gets back to Command Central so he can put the last slide up for me. So, all right. He never puts things back where they belong. Yeah. No, it was it. It was just one line. That's it. You got it. Those are the words. Anybody know where that comes from?
Comes from you to him.
No, but I mean the line. It's the last line of Adon Olam. God is with me, I will not fear. That's what it means. God is with me, I will not fear. So we're just going to sing the one line, and it's really very easy. Adonai li velo ira. God is with me, I will not fear. It's very simple. I'll sing it through, and then you'll catch on. The three of the lines are the same melody. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. The next line's different. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Let's sing it again. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. And as we leave each other this evening, Let us remember all the good we have in the world and treat each other with kindness. If we disagree, but we can be kind. Always share kindness as a challah, made with love. And on that note, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom, and let's join in our social hall for Motzi and Kiddush. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's great. I just came from a temple Israel in Indiana, so.
We don't have any imagination putting
I
dates.
know. Exactly.
Beit Shalom, so my daughter lives here.
Oh, great. I've been here like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Yeah, very.
I keep, this is
Hi.
son and this is Riley, afraid.
Yeah, you can go like that.
Goes up the beam and out, I pick her up, no problem.
She's oh, we don't touch that, but you can go. You can do this, okay? You can,
On the strings.
Oh, that's great.
yeah. I think we have like 130 families or member units or whatever. Yeah, but we're hoping that. And we had kind of a rough year last year, and to say the least. We're hoping that maybe we're trying to just, just trying to recreate and trying to bring back and.
Our temple turned 100.
Oh wow.